Yes, unless they've already filed them. Welcome back. We're George West, and we're now continuing the examination of this. I'm not sure we're going to complete the 911 call at this time.
Two breaths and 30 pumps.
Okay.
Can I count with you for the 30 pumps?
Deep breath.
Did you feel the air going in and out?
Yes, I can. I know. I promise. I know what I'm doing.
Great. So we're going to count together. I hear you've been a paramedic for a long time, but I'm going to help you count, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're doing a really good job. So stop and do 2 more breaths, okay?
Okay, I'm doing it.
When you're done, let's start compressions again.
I'm doing it. I'm doing compressions. I haven't shot.
1, 2, 3.
Right when you're saying it.
You're doing a great job, Kevin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kevin, are you still doing the compressions? Okay, stop and give 2 more breaths. Tell me when you're done so I can count with you. 2 breaths, 30 pumps.
I'm doing 2 breaths now. Okay, so the compression.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hear you know how to do it, and you're taking really good care of her. They're coming as fast as they can. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to help you keep count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more breaths now.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not as bad, I'm not sure.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop and 2 more breaths right now, Kevin. You're doing a good job. They're coming as fast as they can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, hard and fast. You know how to do this. You're doing a good job. 1, 2, 3,
I have to
4.
unlock the door. I have to unlock the front door.
Run to unlock the door and come straight back here.
Okay, I'm going to have her.
Driving my mom.
Okay, back.
Okay, 1, 2. We're going to do 2 more breaths. Do 2 breaths and start the pumps again.
Okay, so compression.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Stop and 2 more breaths right now.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. You're doing a good job. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going, Kevin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop and 2 more breaths for me. You're doing a good job. They're pulling up that front. Don't stop until they take over for you.
I know. I'm afraid I know.
2 breaths and 30 pumps. You're going to do it till they take over for you.
I'm doing it. I'm pretty good.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Stop and 2 more breaths. 2 more breaths.
I'm right here.
Keep going with compressions until they take over for you.
Oh, God. I got my time. I got you.
January 8th, 2024, 4:37.
Kevin, the end of that call, that was that the EMS arriving as you were still giving compressions?
Yeah.
Who took over for you?
It was Eric Miller took over compressions for me.
When you made the call, you knew that the people who would come and look at this and scrutinize this were the same people that you had told you're unhappy with your marriage, didn't you?
Yeah, that wasn't my thought at the time, though.
But you knew that the people who would be showing up knew that you were worried about losing half of your retirement.
I didn't know who was arriving, but yeah, it could be.
And some of them knew that you were having an affair.
Yes.
You know, by calling 911, did you think it would increase your chances of survival or decrease?
Increase, absolutely. It's an absolute must for survival. Like, I can't do it on my own.
Now, you've been on, before you became a battalion chief or a captain, you were on lots of calls, weren't you? Do you have any idea how many you were on?
We used to keep track, thousands. Yeah.
And was this different than your regular call? For you.
Yeah, it's personal. It's my wife. It's different. I don't have any resources. I don't have any tools.
So then EMS shows up, and it looks like from the video you stayed in the room, correct?
Yes, I wasn't leaving her.
Okay. Is that kind of unusual, though?
I would, as a captain, I was consistently managing the scene, charting notes of everything that's happening, but also if someone needed an additional resource, they would tell me and I'd be the one to get it rolling, get it there. And so if a situation arose where there was a family member that wanted to be with a loved one, I would absolutely allow it if the room accommodated it and they were calm enough to manage the situation. They could be there. But if they were going to be a distraction or in the way, physically or verbally, I would be the one to be kind of the bad guy for the crews, but I'd have to escort them to another room so we could appropriately treat a patient.
Now, after Marcy passed, well, how long did you stay up there after she passed?
After she passed, I wasn't up there for very long at all. Efforts had stopped. I I prayed for her. I said goodbye. I went downstairs. And I had so many people surrounding me.
And we see that about an hour and a half after she passed, you spoke to a police detective, correct?
I did.
Were you worried about that?
No.
Now, you talked to Kevin Valines sometime, was it that morning or later in the day, do you recall?
I don't know if it was before I left for Seattle or if it was after. That's when I saw him. And he had been to the house a couple times after that.
Now, we understand from other testimony that you were your emotions were ranging all over the place. Describe how you felt, like if you were having a bad moment or nothing moment, how did you feel that day?
I had a myriad of emotions I was dealing with. I had to be strong for my kids. I wanted them to know that I was safe. I know that they were in fear, like, what if we lose Dad now? There was a lot of conversations that were fear-based. I was always in a mode of making sure they had what they needed or the support. My moods were of extreme sadness. Seeing my kids' sadness was so incredible, so difficult, so incredibly difficult. My emotions went back and forth because we had so many problems that were unresolved that I was sad, I was frustrated, I was angry about that. But there's also someone I love for
Were there
a lot of years. Sorry.
Were there times when you didn't feel anything?
I was just numb, but anytime I came around somebody, I'd have to show them I'm strong. I was able to carry my load, you know?
Kevin Valines testified that you said something like, you feel bad for not feeling bad. Did you say something like that?
I might have said something like that. I didn't mean it in that context. It could have been with how I was feeling in that moment. But there was a lot of emotions happening.
And then you also talked to Scott Slocum, correct?
I did.
And he testified that you told him, I think he said that day, you said a big burden had been lifted, that you were relieved or something like that. Did you have a conversation with Scott Slocum that day where you said something like that?
I could have. I would have never in my life used that in the context of Marcy passing. The things like the fire department supporting me and bringing food for everyone, that was a load that was lifted off my shoulders. I don't know of any other reason that I would say something like that.
You didn't tell me you were relieved that a burden had been lifted for your lifetime.
Absolutely not.
Now you're at home and family starts to show up too that day, right?
Yep. Yes.
You're saying that food started to arrive, right?
Yes.
Who was the first person to bring food?
Only because of testimony. Casey Jones said she brought it first. I don't remember what the order in which everyone brought their food.
Do you remember your conversation with her?
I do.
Where were you?
On the garage. I would, if I may,
Sure.
I would open the garage. I want people to text me before they came because I wanted to gather myself, and I wanted to go out there and I wanted to show my appreciation. There were some times when they'd want to just set it on the front porch and I didn't get to say thank you. That's when I started to say, text me please, because I want to show my gratitude for what they're doing for everybody.
Were you happy to see Casey?
I was.
What did you think your relationship with her was like at that time?
I didn't think I thought we worked well together. I didn't think there was a conflict of any kind.
She kind of endorsed the idea that she's the office gossip. Was that your experience with her?
Yes.
Now, in the days that followed, Were you able to go back in that room and sleep, the master bedroom,
Did.
like right away?
I went for 3 days and I wasn't able to do it anymore. I couldn't sleep in there anymore after that.
Did you still have to pass through the room?
I did. I had to get my clothes out of the walk-in closet. My shower was in there. My belongings are stored there.
Kevin, I'm going to show you exhibit number 9 and ask you to take a look at that. You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can just sort of touch it and explain it.
As you walk in the front door of my home, there was a sectional couch immediately to your left, coffee table, a picture of my daughter on the wall, and a picture of Marcy and I at our wedding. A picture of my son on the end table next to the end of the couch.
Was there a time when you took that picture down?
I did.
How many days after she passed was it?
It was a few, 3 or 4 days after.
What did you do with it?
I took it upstairs and leaned it against the wall behind the couch.
Were you trying to erase all memories?
Objection, leading.
Absolutely not.
Like the answer, Stan, try not to leave.
I'm sorry, you said, did you put a photo in its place, did you say?
I did. So opposing that wall, so that photo that you could see was facing towards the front door. There was another photo facing away that was you couldn't see when you walked in the room. That was a picture of my kids. I took that when they were very young, and I put it in its place. When I was walking through that room, I would just feel like I had to avoid looking at it, or I got sad when I saw it, and I didn't want to walk through the room and feel like I had to force myself to look away. So I took it down to create more. You can't explain why you grieve.
Was Cynthia hanging out in your house at that time?
No,
She'd been in the garage, right?
just in the garage.
Okay. Was she in the house at times?
The only time that she was in the house was at the gathering we had when everyone came just after my birthday. My daughter made a big cake, and we went into the kitchen to cut it up when they sang. And but we spent time inside the garage mostly. Everyone did, but there was groups of people kind of everywhere. But Cynthia spent most of her time in the garage.
Now, the photo that we saw of the furnishings, that, can you see the last exhibit? It's the one that Kevin, I'm showing you exhibit 313. And again,
Yes.
that's the furniture from the bedroom, right?
Yes, it is.
And so, what happened with it?
So you can see in the photo, it's the same photo we had before with the bed and the 2 nightstands oriented adjacent to the walk-in closet. You can see the mattress isn't there. I already removed that and took it to the dump because it was urine stained, not just from Marcy's side of the bed, but from a cat from previous, and I didn't realize it was there. So that's where that is. This furniture, I had a group of guys from the fire department come to help me carry. We took apart the bed, the nightstands, the dresser, and we also took from the great room, it's kind of a bonus room. We took a entertainment center, the Peloton, and a few other ancillary items, and took them to Scott Slocum's shop, where he had enough space. It's like 5 minutes from the house, and he stored them while another friend was helping sell them on Facebook Marketplace. But I was getting the great room emptied out also only because my daughter Megan and her then fiance were going to move in, and that was going to be their space. I was trying to create a space for them, but I removed this furniture because I wanted new. I wanted to go as far as putting natural wood on the walls. I wanted to change the feel of the room. That's the feeling I had at that time.
That's appeared to be a narrative non-response.
Okay. And so, when you took the furniture out of the house, was that before or after you had met with the detectives the first time?
That was before.
Like how many days do you think?
So the get-together was the 20th. That following Monday, everyone left. It was kind of my first day by myself, and I think it was that day. So it had been a few days prior to the 23rd when they came the first time.
So at the time that that your friends helped you move the furniture, you didn't realize you were under investigation for murdering your wife, did you?
No idea.
And we already heard testimony that your mother washed your sheets, correct?
Yeah.
And that your father put the comforter in the garbage. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And your sister threw away the pillow.
Correct.
Now, there's a lot of text messages that came in and were read to the jury and that are in evidence and so forth. A lot of them say they were deleted. Messages between you and Marcy. Did you delete those?
I did.
What?
Megan asked me for her mom's cell phone. She had a lot of dance photos and trips they had taken. The photos were very important to her. I did not want Megan to read our arguments. I felt that was private. As in life, we kept it separate, and I wanted to continue that. So I deleted those. And conversely, I didn't want to read those on my phone. I wanted to remember Marcy for Marcy and not our arguments. And when I went in and saw them, the ice storm, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I did. I deleted the messages. I didn't want to look at them anymore.
When the detectives came to your house on the 23rd, you were in the garage with Cynthia, weren't you?
I was.
And did you not hear them knocking?
No, I did not.
So what was going on in the garage?
So I had an Apple playlist. I was just playing some music lightly enough that we could still have a conversation. There were some pictures of my garage. There was 2 chairs off to the side, a rocking chair and a soft chair. It was my grandpa's chair from years and years ago. We were just sitting there in our own chairs, listening to music, and we were talking.
And so what is it that actually caught your attention and made you aware that somebody was there?
I heard him bang on the garage door.
And so what did you do next?
I went to the front door.
Did you tell Cynthia to wait there?
No.
And so you went to the front door?
Yeah.
Did you know they were coming?
No.
And so from the video, we see you let them in.
Yep.
And you talked to them.
I did.
Did you tell them the truth?
I did.
There was a point where you told them that you were having an affair. I think that was actually on the next meeting on the
Second meeting, yes.
Okay. And when they first came, did you realize you were being investigated for murder on that second visit? When they first arrived, did you know that?
No, they said it was just a routine interview. The medical examiner office just has them do it regularly, just a routine thing.
And you admitted to the affair with Cynthia.
I did.
But you mentioned that you didn't know if there were future plans. That's what the video says. Were you telling them absolutely everything about the affair as it really stood, do you think?
With the affair, no, I didn't. I think I said that we had a physical relationship, we had an emotional relationship. There weren't future plans there's no wedding date. There wasn't a date to become engaged. There was a plan to move in. She was still with her now ex.
Did you think that was a really important thing for the police to know about?
I didn't think I was being investigated. I didn't think it was necessary.
There's also testimony from Marcy's mother about her giving you $1,000 check.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask for that money?
No.
How did that come up?
I spoke to Peggy and Addison at that time. Primarily, I was calling Peggy daily following Marcy passing. We discussed 2 different financial things. I never said I was broke. I said that I was concerned about being able to afford my daughter's wedding because Marcy had put such an effort into working more and earning more money. I was concerned about being able to pay for her wedding, knowing that our schedule was changing and I was going to be earning less. This was a conversation Marcy and I had, November and early December, and she started picking up shifts and really pulling her weight for Megan's wedding.
Do you have any training in a rear naked chokehold, that kind of move?
No, I do not. And may I complete the previous question, the
Oh, I'm
answer?
sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, there was two things, the financial, one was the wedding, and the other one was paying for the site where we laid Marcy to rest. The fire department paid primarily for the funeral home costs, which was incredible. They donated, not the funeral home donated 2 small hearts for each of the kids to me. They didn't even charge me. But those are the only financial things that Peggy and I spoke about. When she brought me that birthday card with $1,000 in it, I thought that was a gift or something to help with the wedding.
Well, speaking of Peggy and that side of the family, why did you not offer to give them things?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Why did you not offer to give them things of Marcy's?
I apologize for that. I don't know that there was something that they would have wanted. I didn't think to ask, and I regret that. But it wasn't done in haste. There was a lot going on at the time. There was the ice storm. I just lost my wife. Someone that I loved very much for a very long time, that I lived with, had children with. But we also had the other side where it was very difficult, and that was a lot of emotion to handle.
Did you go to Marcy's funeral?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I wasn't welcome.
How did you become aware of that?
When I was arrested, I very quickly found out who wanted to talk to me anymore. And,
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
That's the stand.
So, without talking about, the different personalities, did you receive communication of some sort that made you feel like you shouldn't be there?
yes.
And what was that? What is it that caused
Objection,
you to make that
relevance.
decision?
Sorry, I'll sustain the objection.
Just in a word, without talking about what other people said, why did you not go?
Objection, relevance.
I sustain the objection.
Did you want to go?
Yes.
Objection, relevance.
Allow that answer to stand. Additional questions will need to comply with our previous ruling.
In the 911 call, well, you seem to be working with the operator trying to work on Marcy. There's a part where you say, I should have known. You should have known. What should you have known?
I don't remember.
Did you feel like you should have seen this coming?
No, I don't. I feel like I did a good assessment the night before. I don't blame myself for not calling 911 like that night before.
And just incidentally, in the master bedroom, was the heating system working that night?
Our heat was not working. There was a wire that was found loose in our thermostat, and it was a smart thermostat you can control from your phone. I did wire it myself months before. It worked just fine. There was, that morning when I went to Seattle, my brothers and sisters that were there from the fire department contacted a heating cooling company. They came out, and that's what they found. There was just a loose wire. They got it back in the thermostat, and then we did have heat. It was, during the ice storm.
Kevin, did you put your wife in a rear naked chokehold and strangle her to death?
No.
Did you do anything to cause the contusion on the back of her head?
No, I did not.
Did you do anything to cause Marcy's death?
No, I did not.
That's all I have, thanks.
Cross-examination.
Mr. West, who took this photo?
Scott Slocum,
Scott Slocum took this photo.
yes.
When did he take this photo?
The day we removed it from the house.
Use the exhibit number, please.
You have it. Can you please tell me the
Oh,
number?
I'm sorry, this photo right here?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
the number? 313.
And when was this photo taken?
The day we removed the furniture from the house.
Which was what date?
I don't know exactly which day it was.
You don't know what date the furniture was?
It was
removed?
after my birthday on the 18th, or the 20th when we had the gathering, and when, the 23rd when the first, when the detectives first arrived.
Is it fair to say our office doesn't have the metadata of when this photo was taken?
I'm not aware of that.
I want to be very clear about the timeline, okay? What time did you and Marcy make love on the 7th?
I don't know what time it was. It was in the evening, between a movie.
Okay, then let's back up. What time did you eat?
In the evening sometime.
Not in the evening.
Events are very easy, timelines are difficult.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. What time did you go to get Chinese?
Late afternoon, early evening.
What did you do after that?
I dished her up and we ate and watched a movie.
How many movies did you watch?
2 or 3.
And what time between the movies did you make love?
What? 8 o'clock hour?
8 o'clock?
Possibly 7, 8, somewhere. I don't remember.
And how many movies did you watch?
2 or 3.
And so you don't know what time you made love, you and Marcy.
I didn't look at the clock when we went up there, or my phone.
And after you and Marcy make love, what is the next thing that happens?
I went downstairs.
Did you go downstairs alone?
I did.
And how long were you downstairs?
For a short period,
What's a short period?
30 minutes to an hour.
What happened next?
She came down and complained about a headache.
And then what happened?
She took ibuprofen.
And then what happened?
She went upstairs.
Okay. And then what happened?
She vomited.
And then what happened?
I could hear her vomiting, so I went upstairs
Okay, and where did you go?
to the bathroom at
And
the
then,
top of the stairs.
and then you came back downstairs.
I did.
While she had been up vomiting, you then left her upstairs and then you went back downstairs.
I watched her. I stated earlier that I watched her walk. I wanted her to walk on her own to make sure she was stable on her own, and I watched her go back to bed.
And then so she goes to bed alone. What time would this have been?
9:30, 10:30, something like that, maybe.
But you stayed back downstairs.
I did, yes.
What time did you go back upstairs?
I thought that I went to bed at about 11, but times are difficult.
So your testimony today is that she went downstairs, went back upstairs, vomited, you went upstairs with her, then you came back downstairs for an amount of time. She went to bed at like 9 o'clock, and then you went back upstairs around 11.
She went to bed a little later than that, but yeah.
When did you go back upstairs?
Well, I went up there once when she was.
Objectors asked and answered. Some repetition is permitted in cross if overruled. Repeat your question.
When did you go back upstairs?
Well, I went upstairs when she vomited, and I went back upstairs to go to bed.
And you were or weren't Googling things on your phone?
I was not Googling things on my phone.
So then your testimony today is that at 11 o'clock, approximately, you would have put your phone on the nightstand and then not touched it until you made the 911 call, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
And your testimony is that Marcy knew your PIN code.
She did.
Your testimony today is that she was suspicious that you were having an affair.
I am guessing that she was suspicious about it. She told me that I was on my phone too much. And that was a combination of affair, handling work issues. I commonly got that as well.
So it's your testimony that you were asleep between the hours of 11 and 4:27 a.m.
That's correct.
And the only thing that woke you up was your dog.
That's correct.
And your statements that you're making today came after your Apple Health data came to light, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And after her Apple Health data came to light, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And your statements today are inconsistent with what you've previously told law enforcement.
I don't know how it's inconsistent with what I've said before.
You've never previously said you stayed up while she went to bed.
I said the same thing over and over and over and over for the last 2 years.
You never told law enforcement she was suspicious about you having an affair.
Don't remember.
It's your testimony also today that you may have caused injury to her neck and head prior during the lowering process.
I never said that I caused injury to her, that I may have.
You may have caused injury to her head and neck during the lowering process.
I had my hands under her shoulders when I lowered her to the ground. There was no incident in lowering her to the ground. If it was a ambulance call, I document everything. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. If I was documenting what happened in this, when I treated Marcy, it'd have been unremarkable in the event of me lowering her to the ground. There was no contact with anything. It was a quick, hasty move, but it was a safe move for Marcy when I lowered her.
So no injuries were caused to Marcy during the lowering process.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
your testimony today.
That's absolutely correct.
You did not touch her neck.
When I was lowering her?
Correct.
Absolutely not.
And you were asked directly, and you have no explanation for her injuries.
I have no explanation for her injuries.
You don't have an explanation for her injuries on the 31st of January 2024, correct?
When I was interviewed, yes.
And you have no explanation for her injuries today.
That is absolutely correct.
You told your best friend, Kevin Valines, you feel bad for not feeling bad at 8 a.m. on the day of her death. Did you not?
If I said something to that effect,
That's you being strong.
I'm
correct?
sorry, what?
Was that you being
Objection.
strong?
She should ask that she would
That's
let the
correct.
witness.
If you wish to ask a question, then wait for the answer before you ask the next one. Repeat your question.
You told your best friend, Kevin Valines, that you feel bad for not feeling bad, and that was at 8 a.m. the morning of Marcy's death. Did you not?
That's what he testified to. If I said something to that effect, that morning was beyond traumatic and difficult. I don't know half of what I said. I was also frustrated with dispatch. I was frustrated that I couldn't do continuous CPR. It was difficult. It was a difficult morning. I struggled a lot. If I confided in a friend that morning and it came out wrong,
I'm sorry, like any witness, you need to listen to the question asked, answer that question, then wait for the next one.
yes, sir.
Mentioning dispatch, you actually called dispatch a bitch in the kitchen to your friends. Did you not?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Please stay.
Move to strike and instruct the jury.
There hasn't been any testimony to strike, disregard the last question.
You told your best friend, Scott Slocum, that a burden had been lifted. Did you not?
If I said that, that's completely taken out of context and was meant for some other reason. There was a lot of help and a lot of support where I could have justified saying something like that. I am not a cold person. I'm a
Sorry.
warm, sorry.
If someone asks you if you said something, the answer either is yes, you said it, no, you didn't, or you don't remember.
Yes,
It's
Your
not
Honor.
it's not an opportunity for you to begin speaking at will of whatever you want. So
Yep.
listen to the question asked and answer that question.
Yes, Your Honor.
You told your friend and EMT trainer, Mark Whitland, sometimes autopsies don't come back with anything. Did you not?
I did.
And you asked him if it would be okay to get rid of her things. You said this unprompted, correct?
I don't remember that.
You've been a paramedic for over 20 years, correct?
Yes.
You understand the anatomy of a body.
Yes.
You understand the anatomy of a neck.
Yes.
You know not to put pressure on both carotid arteries, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Read the break.
Yes. Kevin, you're asked repeatedly what time you did this, what time you did that. Did you not keep a log of everything you did that evening?
I did not.
Were you ever asked by the detectives if you thought your wife was suspicious of you? And when you said to Mark Woodland, sometimes autopsies don't show anything, what were you expressing? What did you mean by that?
Well, conversations with Marcy's parents, we all wanted to know why. We wanted to have an answer. We wanted toxicology to come back. I've never been through this. I didn't realize toxicology took 3 to 4 months or longer. We all wanted answers. I knew Marcy well enough that I didn't think there'd be anything in toxicology. She drank that Pepsi and took ibuprofen. She didn't drink. I knew her well enough that I just didn't, I felt confident in that. But not having answers for so long, we all wanted answers.
And you were afraid that you wouldn't get an answer.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Be cross.
No, Your Honor.
You could step down. Do you have additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Defense rest? Do you have a other witness?